Remember, we as accountants, normally we know that income statement is time-based. Income statement is time-based. Like income statement for the year ending 2016, income statement for the year ending 2017, or whichever. So then the first thing that you need to do, my great students here, is to come and rewrite this period nicely. You have one component being the component of the year, and then the other component being the component of the what year of the period. So if that is the case, then I'll need to come and introduce new columns here. So insert new columns. So insert two of them, one for the year, the other one for the month. Two of them. So my great students, what do I have? Here I have the months. I have the months there. I have the months. Here I have the months. Here I have the months. And then here I have the years. Like that. Now, so what I'll do, I'll come and use the left and the right function. So like the months, I can see from the period, months we have 2016-01. This 01 is January. So I can see 01, this happens to be the right-hand side digits, two characters on the right-hand side. So what I'll do, I'll come and pick this using equals. I look for the right function. So I say tab. So when I say tab like that, the next thing they want me to do is to come and pick the text. So I'll come and pick the text like that. I say comma. The next thing they want me to do is to come and give them number of characters. So characters are how many? There are 2. So come here and enter like that. So there straight away I have my months. And then straight away I'll also come and use equals here to activate the cell. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be able to, from the period here, I'll be able to use the left. So I'm using the left. I can see the left is there. So come and tab. When it's blue ticked, you tab. And then you pick on the text. Once I pick on the text like that, I'll be able, after comma, to say the number of characters. 2016, I can see these are how many characters? 4 characters. So I'll be able to say enter. Once I've done that, what I need to do is to come and say control copy to both. Control copy to both. And then I drag, I go down here. I can't drag manually because these are very many rows. I'll go manually down there up to here. So when I reach here, the last cell, what I need to do is to come and press shift. So I press shift and then I click like that. And then of course I'll drag because I want the two columns. So from there, what do? I'll come and say control paste, control V. So control V, ladies and gentlemen, there I am. I've been able to subdivide my period into months and what year? Months and years. Into months and years. So I would want somebody to confirm whether we are okay up to there. Somebody confirm. Kindly tell me, are we okay up to there? Are we okay up to there? Are we okay up to there? Have you been able to do yours like that? Elizabeth says, okay, thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, allow me then to move to the next level. The next level is quite an easy level. What I will do from this particular information, ladies and gentlemen, I would want to fix a pivot table. We normally pivot for us to be able to come up with an income statement easily. So a pivot table means that I must highlight. I must come and highlight the entire document. So I'll start by highlighting the columns themselves. So I'll say control shift, right hand side arrow, control shift, down arrow. By doing that, I've been able to highlight the entire document, which has got 88,000 rows, So ladies and gentlemen, once I do that, I know the next thing is for me to come and fix. So I'll come and insert a pivot table. So insert here a pivot table. So when I say insert a pivot table, I can see some pop out window here, some pop-up window, yes, which is asking me whether I want a new worksheet. I'll not hesitate to say okay. So I'll come and say okay. When I say okay, I'm able to see here they are telling me to build a report, choose fields from the pivot table field list. And the pivot table list is here. So then remember, I've got my 4 cells here. So with the 4 cells, what I will do, I'll come just the normal way that I normally teach you quantitative analysis, remember, the normal way I normally teach you quantitative analysis, normally, if you recall, in quantitative analysis, we normally talk of, for example, 2018, quarter one, quarter two. So normally time is in the columns. Time is in the columns. Time is in the columns. So I'll come very fast here. I'll come very fast here and take the years. I'll drag this by clicking inside there. I drag to columns, left mine behind. So click there, you drag it to columns. Release it like that. From there, ladies and gentlemen, I will come and pick the next item. The next item, still I can see a time period months. I'll come and put months below. As I populate my areas, here, I can see something nice happening, like now 2015 January all the way. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know like brand, if I'm the one doing this, I'll bring the brand to the rows, like that. So you can see rows here, we have Buratino Orange, Buratino Peach, etc., etc. And then now I go to the items that I would want to put in my income statement. So in my income statement, I may want to put volume here. Volumes are very important. So I'll come and take the volume to the value, because volume I would want to evaluate. I would want to know the total volumes. So once I do that, I'll go to the next thing called the gross sales. This is very important for me. The next one is called discounts. This is very important for me. The next one after discounts is the net sales. So net sales is important for me. From there, what do I have? I have cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold. I have the distribution expenses. I pick them. I have the warehousing. I'll come and pick warehousing and put it there. So, ladies and gentlemen, that now happens to be my beautiful pivot table. My beautiful pivot table. What I don't know is whether there is anybody who is really able to follow what I'm doing, and they've been able to follow that straight away and have already done it in their machines. In their machines. If you have a problem with that, you simply ask a question and we shall be able to do what here to help you. We shall be able to help you. Remember, it's just a recap because you've done this, honestly speaking, for the last like 2 days. It's a recap. So I'm moving a little bit first. Now, ladies and gentlemen, after that, I'll come right away here and say share my screen. Now here we are. So what we need to do very fast here is to come and prepare a P&L, a worksheet for P&L. So come here and add another worksheet. So say new worksheet like that. This new worksheet, I would want to rename the new worksheet. We rename the new worksheet to profit and loss. So we have here profit and loss. Profit and loss. So profit and loss, now I'm comfortable there. So this profit and loss, what would I want? I would want those items that normally go to the profit and loss to be captured. So I can either I type them, I can decide to type them, or I come to this particular data table of mine and pick them from here. So I'll just go and pick the volume. I have the gross sales, the ones that I took to my pivot values. So I continue up to the end there like that. So from there, what do? We'll come and copy. We copy this. So I'll come to my P&L, look for an appropriate place like this one, and then we say paste, and if possible, you transpose. You transpose like that. So how do you paste? It's paste, transpose. So when you say paste, you can see this one here. There is pasting numbers, etc. And then there is this pasting transposing like that. There is the pasting transposing. Pasting transposing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, after you do that, straight away, the next thing will now for you to pick the years. These years, you have to get them from the pivot table. The years, you get them from the pivot table. This sheet one, we ought to have renamed it. So rename. This sheet one, we ought to have renamed it. We call it the pivot. We call it the pivot like that. That's okay. That's okay. We call it the pivot. That is okay. So from there we have here, in the pivot, I want my ears. The ears which are given here, please copy. So right click, copy. Come here to the P and the L. You just put it on the column title. You paste as a number. And then you go back to your pivot. Look for the year 2016. Look for the year 2016. Look for the year 2016. Look for the year 2016 is somewhere here. You look for it nicely, copy it like that, and then you'll be able to come to the P and L of yours, put it there. You say paste as a number, like that. Paste as a number. So before I continue, I would want to know whether there is any student, who has been able to reach where Mwalimu has reached. I would want to know whether there is any student who has reached where Mwalimu has reached. Even if it's a recap, I don't also want to be way ahead of you. I don't want to be way ahead of you. Is there somebody who has been able to reach where I have reached, ladies and gentlemen? So I'm waiting to hear from you. Remember, we must keep on talking. It is an engagement that we have. It's an engagement. I have to engage you. You have to engage me. At the end of the day, for us to become Excel gurus. So is there somebody who has been able to do just that skeleton of a format? The skeleton of a format? Or is there anybody who has a question? Is there anyone who has a question? Yes, Peter. Repeat how to transpose. So if, for example, a good question there, what do we mean by this thing of transposing? Now, remember, we have copied your information. We have copied our information. For example, this 2015 and 2016. If I would want to copy and take this elsewhere, what I'll do, I'll come and basically highlight the two. And then I'll say copy. So when I bring here, and I would want to paste this, in the form of a column. When I right click, I'll be able to see the paste options here. So like paste normal function, you can see this thing of transposing here. It's called transpose. So once I click on it, I'll be able to get this information in the form of a column. Is there somebody who has been able to do that? Is there somebody who has been able to, or rather, Elizabeth, have you understood how to really get that? Okay, great. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you allow Mwalimu, now I would want to fix my income statement very easily. So how do I fix my income statement very easily? I'll start with the volume here. So this volume, I'll have to activate my cell. So I'll have to say equals. So when I say equals, where do I want to get this data from? It is called get pivot data. So you go to the pivot, I want the volume for 2015. The volume for 2015. I'll come and pick this figure. When I pick the first sum of volume, like that, I will say enter. So when I say enter, what are you seeing, ladies and gentlemen, being displayed here? When I say enter, I can see on this P and the L of mine, that volume has basically moved to this particular P and L sheet of mine, which has got 2015, and then the volume is there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment I've done that, I've basically finished up everything. The only thing that I need to do is to come and clean up. This is the importance of the get pivot data. You can see here, get pivot data. So the only thing that I need to do is to come and clean up. So I'll have to go and do my cleanup. I do my cleanup for that formula. The moment I clean up this formula, then I will have mastered The entire concept of what here? The entire concept of this particular get pivot concept here. So what I'll do, like this 2015 volume, what is it telling me, this 96 something? It is telling me that it is volume for a brand called Buratino. But remember, this is a firm which is dealing with many what here, which is dealing with many products. So I need to come and really delete the Buratino brand. So delete this. You delete this very fast, very fast, very fast, like that. So when I delete it like that, what I will do, just to check, although I can just continue cleaning, but just to check whether I'm correct, I simply need to come and say enter. So when I say enter, of course, I expect now my volume to be bigger because now we are looking at volumes of many brands. Now, the other thing that I need to know, I would want to copy this particular thing to the other year, like 2016. So it means that this 2015 has to be removed, and instead of it, we put something that moves with us. So I need to come and delete the entire 2015. I delete the entire 2015, and then I'll put a cell reference. I put a cell. So instead of saying 2015, I'll come and click on this. So I can see D5 there. Once I see D5 there, can somebody tell me between D and the 5, moja yao lazima ikule dollar? Which one do you think are we going to place a dollar before it? Should we place a dollar before D or a dollar before 5? Before D or a dollar before 5? Please talk to me. Should we place a dollar before D or a dollar before 5? Someone talk to me. Aha, someone has already spoken to me. Someone is telling me. Yeah, there's a person telling me before 5, 3 of them, before 5. You're right. It is before 5. Why? It's before 5. Why? Before 5 because this 2015, 2016, they are on the 5th row. They're on the 5th row, and because they're on the 5th row, which happens to be title row, a title row should not be moving. So I need to come and put a dollar there. So a dollar before 5. So come there, put a dollar before 5 like that. After you do that, I don't have a problem with these years, but now I have a problem with these months because they're telling me that they're giving me sales revenue or rather volume for just January. So I need to come here and click. Don't delete that particular comma. It's a sensitive thing. So delete these months until I see myself having 2 commas there. I only need 1 comma. So I need to delete that one as well. And then after I finish that, I'll come and say enter. So when I say enter, I can see my volume has again changed. Why is it changing? Now it's giving me volume for a whole year. It's giving me volume for a whole year. Now there is one problem. If I try copying this thing down, if I drag it down, what will I be getting at the end of the day? The same figures. Why is that the case? It is the case, ladies and gentlemen, because I've instructed my Excel to only consider volume. And that is why it's always important for us to come and do what we call cell referencing, so that as I move down, I should be having my figures, new figures coming up. So ladies and gentlemen, what I need to do here, what I need to do in this formula, I need to come to the volume. So this volume, I will delete it. So when I delete that volume like that, now I need to put a cell. I need to put like this volume cell. So I need to, instead of volume word, I need to come and click on the volume cell like that. But now remember the basic rules of Excel. The basic rules of Excel tell us that there is no way you can mix words and cells. No way. No way. So you must leave the words to be in brackets like that. And then outside, what you'll do outside there, outside, what you will do, you will come outside here, outside the quotation. And then now you bring in the cell. So how do you bring in the cell? You'll come and say shift and. You say the words under the cell. And the cell itself here is the volume. Is the volume. Now, having clicked that volume cell, of course, whenever I introduce a cell, I must always dollar reference something. So it's either I introduce the dollar before C or I introduce the dollar before 7. Where do you think should I put that dollar? Should it be before C or before 7? Somebody help me. Somebody help me. Somebody help me. Where my cursor is dancing there, C7, where do you think should I put my dollar? Yeah, somebody is talking to me. Somebody is talking to me. They are telling me before C. Onyari is saying, oh, that was the earlier one. The earlier one. Ondato is saying before C. Before C. How about the other students? Before C, eh? Before C. Thank you and thank you very much. It is before C. You are right. Before C, because C is a column title. You can see a column title. So before C, simply come there. Before C, put a dollar there. So shift, put a dollar there. So, and once you do that, ladies and gentlemen, now you are done. Simply give us an enter there. And then what do you do next? You'll come, ladies and gentlemen, and drag this thing down. Drag it down. Now, you'll be able to see it's giving you the total gross sales. It is giving you the discounts. It's giving you the net sales for each of those elements in 2015. And because I've referenced nicely, I can come here and drag this to 2016. And I'll be able to get my figures. These are coming like these because of what here, somebody, you need to have this thing being big. So you take your cursor there until you see it's a plus like that, and then you double click. The same case with this. You put until you see that plus, there, double click. Right. And then now, ladies and gentlemen, remember the concept of formatting. So like now I can come and put this bold. Even this one here should be bold, net sales. Because to get net sales, these guys have used a formula. They have taken gross sales minus discounts to get this. Net sales minus cost of goods sold. I need to come here, ladies and gentlemen, and say, I need to add a row. So how do I add a row? I'll come and right click, and then I say insert. Insert an entire row. So that now this row will be a row for gross profit. This will be a row for gross what here? Gross profit. A row for gross profit. And how do I get gross profit? What I need to do is to come, ladies and gentlemen, here. Let me increase the size. Let me increase the size here. Yeah. So gross profit, I need to come to this particular cell, and then I combine the net sales with the cost of goods sold. Remember, to get gross profit, you normally take the net sales minus the cost of goods sold. And because cost of goods sold, I can see a negative there, I need to come here and say equals. So equals sum, the sum. So I can see sum now here is blue ticked. I need to come and tab it like that. And then now the two numbers I would want to combine are this. And then I'll say enter. From there, what do I do? This gross profit, I need to extend that courtesy to the other side, like that. So come here, ladies and gentlemen, you say equals, Now I want the net, I want the net profit. I want the net profit here. Actually, let me call it profit before tax. Profit before tax. Profit before tax. So this profit before tax, I need to come here very fast. I say equals. So equals, I'll say sum. Once I say sum, ladies and gentlemen, I will see it is blue ticked. I'll say tab. And once I tab like that, I know now this should be the combination of gross profit and all these other expenses, distribution and warehousing. And then I'll be able to say enter. So once I say enter, I'll be able to come here and pull like that. So ensure this is a bit bold. So control bold, control B. I can copy, but it's easier. Control B like that. So in my formatting, like I could come here, highlight these two, and then I say border, top border. The same case with this gross profit. I will need a top border for this. Gross profit, top border For the profit before tax, because it's the final figure, given that you don't have taxation, I need to come and say here, top and thick bottom border, or top and double. We use this one like that. Gross profit also, we ought to have a control border like that. So I want to know whether there is any student who has been able to reach where I have reached. Is there any student who has been able to reach where I have reached? Fortunately, for the ones who came in a little bit late, I've recorded this particular class. I should be able to share with you the link of this thing, and then you should be able to follow slowly. Now that you have got data, you should be able to follow slowly until you understand. Finished? Somebody talk to me. Somebody talk to me. Talk to me. Someone talk to me. Finished? Remember, it was just a recap of what you have done, of what you did in the last class. A recap. That is why I moved quite fast. I know having done all that in 20 minutes, actually less than 20 minutes, is not a joke. Remember, what you have done is to condense information of a huge company which has got 88,000, more than 88,000 transactions. And you've been able to get its income statement very, very fast. So remember, during my exercise of trying to format my thing, I know that the volume should not even be there. I can hide this. I can hide this. Now, please do me a favor. I would want you to give me the variance in the form of percentage. Give me the variance. Give me the variance. Give me the variance in the form of percentage. Give me the variance in form of percentage. So variance, like this variance in form of percentage, what will I do? What I will do, I'll come and say equals. I'll come and take the year 2016. I say divide by the year 2015, right? And then at the end of the day, minus who? At the end of the day, it's minus 1, minus 1, minus 1, and then you say enter. You say enter. You say enter. So I'll be able to see that in 2016, in comparison to 2015, the volume there shrunk by what percentage there? The volume shrunk by, say, 7% like that. 7%. 7%. Right? And then given that now I have the formula, I need to come and basically do what here? Just drag this down. And then I'll be able to get my percentage changes like that. So like I can see this was not really a very good year. 2016 is like our corona year, because you can see everything is like going down, including profit before tax. It went down by a whole what year? 10%. So then what do you think could have really gone wrong in the year 2016? What do you think could have really gone wrong in the year 2016? For us to be able to get the reasons why 2016 we had something going wrong, we need to go back to our pivot. So we go back to our pivot, and in this pivot of ours, in our pivot, ladies and gentlemen, we need to introduce what we call the slicers. We need to introduce the slicers. We need to introduce the slicers. We need to introduce the slicers. So the slicers, here, slicers, you will come in the slicers, so go back. Yeah, that's my pivot table, slicers. This is my pivot table. So in this pivot table, what I would want to do is to insert. What I would want to do is to insert a slicer. So what you do in your pivot table, you click any cell inside here. You click any cell inside here, and then you say insert, and then you'll be able to see something called slicer. Because I would want to slice information for me to know where are we really going wrong. For me to know where are we really going wrong. So I would want my slicers here to come, many of them. For example, I would want to slice this thing in the form of months, in the form of years, in the form of brand, whichever client is important. Client is important, volume is important, and then I'll come and say, okay. So when you say, okay, you can see your slicers have already come up there. So these slicers, you need to click on each one of them. You need to click on each one of them, like the first one. So once I click the first one, I can see it has been highlighted. So then how do I highlight all the others? To highlight all the others, I have to press Control. And then I go and pick the year slicer. I pick the brand slicer. I pick the client slicer. I pick the volume slicer. After that, I would want to cut them away from my pivot. I cut them away. I'll have to repeat this, but first of all, you have to really listen to me. So I want to cut this. So to cut this, I'll come and say, for instance here, right click, already mine have gone. Let me repeat again. So here we are, the first one. So I have here, Control, I pick this one. Control, I pick this one. Control, I pick this. Control, I pick that. And then I'll need now to cut this. So how do we cut this? We need to cut this. So it's going away. So I need to come and say here, insert. So insert, 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 insert my slicer. You can also be using that as something to understand. So we have years. I can pick the brand, it's important. I can pick the client. I can pick the volume and say, okay. So once I'm there, now I would want to pick like the first one like that. Control, I pick the second one. I pick the third one. I pick the client. I pick the volume. Once I do that, I'm interested in cutting them. So to cut them, how do we cut these? To cut these, it's either you right click. When you right click, or you use Control X, if you understand this thing very well, you can also decide to use Control X. Could you kindly try to cut yours? Cut yours very fast, and then you tell me whether you are able to cut it. Cut yours, cut all yours from there. And then you tell me whether you are able to cut. Tell me whether you are able to cut. Tell me whether you are able to cut. Aha. Tell me whether you are able to cut. Repeat variance, please, that I will repeat. Okay. Tell me whether you are able to cut. So if you are able to cut, please go straight away to your profit and loss. Go to your profit and loss, and then you paste them here. You paste them. You paste them. You go to your profit and loss. You paste them. You paste them. Yeah. Right. So come to the P and the L, and then we paste them anywhere here. We paste them anywhere there. We paste them anywhere there. Now, after you paste them, your work will be very easy. simply arrange them nicely. Arrange them nicely. So come and pick them, like you could pick the first one. You arrange it nicely, because this is what will end up constituting our pivot, or rather our dashboard. At the end of the day, we are building a dashboard. So have your slicers arranged nicely. Your slicers arranged nicely here, like that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would want to know, for example, what do you think in this case here may have done this volume, may have caused this volume to reduce like that? So I'll be able to know the contribution of my clients, right? So when I have my 6% highlighted, and then I say Albertson. So Albertson himself, you can see, we lost like 19% business from Albertson. So a good CEO should be able to write to Albertson, get to know why, how comes you really reduced you doing business with us by that percentage. You can see that our profits went this down by 21% because of this guy called Albertson. So meaning that there are other people that we had our business improving with them, like Costo. If I click on Costo, I can see Costo was a good guy. But overall, remember, we still have to push them because we have our volume. If you remember, the total was 6% negative. So ladies and gentlemen, we could also, for example, know the brand that never performed very well. If I come and say, for example, Buratino, you can see Buratino reduction, big reduction. You can see, for example, Crocky. If I click on Crocky is a good product. So if there is a marketing manager who is in charge of Crocky, I should be able to tell Crocky, man, I've done in this case here my slices and dicing, and because of the slice and dicing, I can see my business did very well because of your brand, like that. If, for example, I tried Dandy One, quite a good name, but look at what is happening here. So Dandy One, you can see in this case here, the warehousing cost for Dandy One was very high, really pushed our net profits lower, like that, right? I can, in terms of slicing and dicing, I can know the months that we are doing very well. I just go to each month one at a time, clicking on them, like that. I can decide to have, for example, just 1 year being shown, like 2015 alone. You can see 2015 alone. But of course, the moment I remove 1 year, I'll get errors in the others because of the connection, Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would want to repeat this again very fast. Now, as I repeat this, I would want, first of all, to take your questions. Like I can see Madam Ondato asking me, how did I get my variance? To get my variance, this is what I did. To get my variance, this is what I did. So I need to come and remove this filter to have the two coming back there. So ladies and gentlemen, to get my variance here, even this one, I need all of them now. So I need all of them. This is okay. No. I need to remove the filter so that I can have all of them. The same case with these months. So we go back to where we were. So like now to get this 7%, to get the 7%, what we can even do it the mother tongue way. The mother tongue way is like this. What we'll do, we'll take the year 2016 minus the year 2015 all over the year 2015, right? So in this case here, I'll talk over 59, 55, 73, 6290 minus, I don't want those decimals, minus 59, 83, 7639 point something divided by the 2015, 59, 83, 7639. If you have a calculator, could you kindly help me get this figure? If you have a calculator, Actually, I can even put it easier for you. I can even put it much easier for you. Just leave that. If, for example, someone tells you the year 2018, the price of sugar was, for example, 100 per kg. And then in the year 2019, the price of the same kilogram of sugar was 110. What is the percentage change? The percentage change here will be the price in 2019 minus the price in 2018, all over the price in 2018, right? Times 100. If you try this, you'll end up getting what here? 10%, like that. But you see, this is a longer way. A shorter way will be, you take the current period of year figure divided by the old minus 1. So we have 110 divided by 100 minus 1. And that is exactly what I did on that. If you try this, 110 divided by 100 is 1.1. Minus 1, that gives us 0.1. So 0.1 in terms of percentage, that will give me 10%. That is exactly what I did.